Thank you for joining me, Glen-Nora Tjipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Namwater loses $1.5 billion Namibian in coastal cable theft. 120 buffaloes drown in a lion chase. Child's $1.3 billion Namibian tender put on hold. Do stay tuned for these stories and more news on NMH at 1. In our midday news update, Deputy Executive Director of the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, Louis Shihwambeni, explains what the Public Enterprises Ownership Policy will seek to achieve in light of the government's failure to manage some of its public enterprises. Let's take a look.
You can see on page 12, the objective of this policy is as follows, and the minister was very eloquent in clarifying the objective of this policy, to clarify the role of the state and professionalize its role as a shareholder. Like I said, one of the research that was done was that the state, one of the statewide public enterprises away is because the state as a shareholder has not been playing its role as a professional shareholder, and we have delineated in terms of what a professional shareholder will be looking like.
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. To stay with NMH at 1.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Watch as Gustav Uwait shares his inspiring journey in funding Marco Polo, a beacon of hope for the Khobabe's young people, offering free chef and waitress training. He is transforming lives and creating a path to prosperity. Jemima Debele reports.
My name is Gustav. I'm from Marco Polo. So I started this company for helping the youth around in Namibia in hospitality, in field of chef and waiters. So I started this program because I see there's a help need in Namibia for the youth who just lying down at home and doing nothing. So I started to make this program in Khobabes, and I do this for free. Just to helping the youth, the one who failed grade 10 and the one who just staying home doing nothing. We start in Khobabes at library. Our office is at library. Our classes, they are at the library. So we do this training on different way. We do the chef, they attend for 6 months. And the waiters, they attend for 2 months, and then job attachment after the 2 months. So the chef, they do 6 months, and after 6 months, they go for job attachment. We start this program since last year. And then on last year, we start on October, 15 October, until now. So the first group, There is already 15 students, they start working permanent job.
Getting into our newspaper review segment, starting off with the Namibian Sun's front page, which reports that SWAPO Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister of Works, Veiko Nekundi, has called on the government to tighten the screws on local commercial banks regarding the repossession of homes. He urged the state to implement the amended High Court bill with vigor to ensure people do not lose their homes without proper recourse. We'll get into this after the break in our newspaper review segment.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
As previously mentioned before the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into our newspaper review segment. SWAPO Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister of Works, Veiko Nekundi, has called on the government to tighten the screws on local commercial banks regarding the repossession of homes. He urged the state to implement the amended High Court bill with vigor to ensure people do not lose their homes without proper recourse. Parliamentary discussions around the High Court Amendment Bill focused on the inadequate protection of homeowners and how the country's courts do not have discretionary powers to intervene when banks are about to auction off homes. Now moving over to the Namibian Sun's page 3, almost 8 weeks before the SIM registration deadline, less than half of the country's cell phone users have been registered. According to the Information and Communication Technology Ministry, by September, this number stood at almost 30% in the National Assembly. Deputy Minister Emma Teofile said the ministry is closely monitoring the ongoing registration process and will review the measures implemented by the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia. She encouraged all SIM card holders to register them within the next 2 months to avoid deactivation. Moving over to the Republicans' front page, which reports a pharmaceutical company was last Wednesday granted an interdict to stop the implementation of a $1.3 billion tender awarded to a company whose majority shareholder is a 5-year-old child. While the tender award is reviewed, the Windhoek High Court granted an urgent application for the interim interdict despite the Central Procurement Board of Namibia's claim that the shortage of pharmaceutical products could worsen in the coming months if it is granted. This after Africure Pharmaceutical Namibia, owned by businessman Shapwa Kanyama, was awarded a tender in April for the supply of pharmaceutical products to the Health Ministry worth approximately $123 million Namibian dollars. On the Republicans' page 3, about 120 buffaloes died during a stampede along the Chobe River when they tried to cross from the Chobe National Park in Botswana into Namibia while being chased by lions on Friday morning. The Environment Ministry confirmed that it received a report on a stampede in the area of Kabulubula in the Zambezi region. Spokesperson Romeo Muyunda said no human injuries were reported. This happens naturally for animals that move in big groups, and this is not the first time it has happened. Muyunda added that Conservancy officials were at the scene and ministry officials were dispatched to conduct further investigation. Simon Micheletti from Sorondela Lodge, who was at the scene, told Namibian Sun that 12 lions chased the buffaloes and managed to kill 3 on land. Moving over on the front page of the Allgemeine Zeitung reports that the Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Karl Schleitwein, has expressed concern about the country's water supply, calling it a serious challenge exacerbated by low rainfall. On page 3, the Allgemeine Zeitung reports that on September 25, 2023, the Norddeutscher Rundfunk broadcasted a documentary film entitled German Guild, Namibia and the Genocide, which had been recorded in Namibia by an NDR team. The NDR video reporters interviewed Namibians of different languages and origins. The production was poorly received by the public, especially among knowledgeable Namibians. The Forum of German-Speaking Namibians and a circle of the German-Namibian Society in Germany have sent letters of protest with 170 signatures to the director of NDR. After the break, we continue with more newspaper review.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
We continue with our newspaper review. The Namibian reports that Namwater has suffered a loss of approximately $1.5 million Namibian due to theft of 5 kilometers of cable from its coastal infrastructure since last year. The most recent incident occurred in the Utaseb area of the Kasep Delta outside Walvis Bay last week, where 1 kilometer of underground copper cable was stolen from a Namwater transmitter. A police incident report issued on Thursday estimated the value of the stolen cable at $217,350 Namibian. Neither recovery nor arrest have been made yet. Police investigations are ongoing, noted the report. Franz Ihuhua of Namwater's Coastal Management Business Unit said the organization continuously monitors where flow from all boreholes in the coastal region. Now, flow measures are done on an hourly basis, and any reduction in obstructed flow is flagged and reported, he said. Now, moving over to page 3, the city of Windhoek has cautioned residents that the city is exceeding its water consumption target. The city said in a media statement on Friday that Windhoek exceeded its weekly water consumption target of 422,877 cubic meters by 22%, with total consumption of 516,556 cubic meters during the week up to the 23rd of October. The city said domestic water consumers using more than 40,000 liters of water per month will be officially notified to implement saving measures. The city currently has a water savings target of 10% below its normal consumption of about 1.8 million hectoliters of water per month. In terms of the city's water management plan, Windhoek residents are not allowed to water gardens between 9 and 5 p.m. from October to the end of April, and flower and vegetable gardens should be watered by hand only every second day. Now, moving over to the New Era's front page. The New Era's lead story reports that Minister of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare Dorian Soika said tackling the underrepresentation of women in the National Council continues to be an ongoing battle. There are currently 6 women in the National Council, which consists of 46 members. This shows that women are still not part of key positions in many political parties. Soika made these remarks at the opening of a 3-day capacity building workshop for women in politics, which took place over the weekend in Swakopmund. On to the New Era's page 3, which reports that Prime Minister Sarah Amadila has called for efforts to continue promoting financial literacy to empower the public to make informed decisions. She stated that it is important to ensure that the type and range of financial products available are responsive to the diverse needs of the public and are affordable. Kukongwela Amadila was speaking at the Namibia Women in Finance and Insurance Summit in Windhoek last week. The summit was held under the theme Sustainable Finance and Responsible Insurance, Women Pioneering Environmental, Social and Governance Practices. Moving over to Market Watch, which reports that although the petrol price in Namibia will remain unchanged in November, Namibians will still have to fork out $4.60 or 25% more for a liter of fuel than at the beginning of the year. The Ministry of Mines and Energy on Friday said fuel prices will stay the same, which means that petrol will still cost $22.88 per liter at Walvis Bay in November. In January, the price was $18.28 per liter. The petrol price in Namibia has increased 3 times so far this year, while it remains unchanged 7 times. There has been only 1 decrease in the price. On the other hand, the price of diesel has been lowered 3 times, left unchanged 6 times, and increased on 2 occasions. With that, we've come to the end of our newspaper review segment. After the break, we get into your economic news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In today's economic news, Total Energies is set to begin critical production tests on an appraisal well at its Venus Oil Discovery offshore Namibia. Total Energies Chief Executive Patrick Pauyene, according to Upstream, said the oil major needs to carry out the test to better assess the full size of Venus and determine the right development scheme. This comes as Total Energies is reported to have initiated a multi-billion-dollar bidding process to secure a contract for a rig to conduct development drillings at its Venus Oil Discovery. He mentioned that the French energy company will release the results to the market in late February 2024 once the latest flow test, the Mangeti 1X exploration well and another exploration probe to the north of Venus have been completed. The semi-submersible rig Deep Sea Mirror will perform the Venus 1A test, while the drill ship Tungsten Explorer has recently begun drilling a probe at the Mangeti prospect. Let's get into your economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 22.72, against the euro at 19.84, against the US dollar at 18.76. 2 Namibian dollars and 56 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the Namibia Stock Exchange, all major stocks remained the same. Overall index closed down, going at 1.13%. On the commodities market, gold and Brent crude oil went down while platinum and copper went up. Brent crude oil trading at 0.28%, going for $89.24 per barrel.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into our news from Africa, health authorities apprehended TikToker Matthew Lani, who allegedly impersonated a medical doctor to fuel his social media following when he tried to sneak into a Johannesburg hospital on Sunday night. The Gauteng Department of Health said security personnel at Helen Joseph Hospital stopped Lani on Sunday night after he accessed the premises through the main entrance. Lani was caught just before 8 p.m., disguised in a hoodie and wearing a surgical mask with a stethoscope around his neck. He had previously entered the same facility to create misleading content under the pretense that he was a qualified doctor. Gauteng Health Department spokesperson Motalatle Modiba said, now according to Modiba, Lani asked to use the bathroom after he was apprehended and then tried to escape by jumping through the bathroom window. When the security realized that he was making a run for it, they called for reinforcements and he was subsequently apprehended again. The police were immediately called. News 24 previously reported that a case of identity fraud had been opened against Lani, as well as a case of impersonating a medical doctor. Now, after this short break, we'll get into your international news. Israel has urged Russia to protect all its citizens and all Jews after a large mob, some shouting anti-Semitic slogans, stormed a Dagestan airport. Video footage on social media showed an angry crowd running through the airport in Makachakala, reportedly seeking people arriving from Tel Aviv. Some of the crowd ran onto the runway and surrounded an aircraft there. Russia's aviation agency Rosaviasta said security forces later brought the situation under control. The authorities closed the airport and it will stay closed until Tuesday, Rosaviasta says. Now, earlier it had envisaged a week-long temporary closure. 60 alleged mob participants have been detained, Russian news agencies say, citing the local interior ministry. A local media reported that some demonstrators were stopping cars outside Makachakala's airport, demanding to see documents in a chaotic search for Israeli passports. 20 people were injured, including some police officers, the Republic's health ministry said. Some have serious injuries and 2 are in critical condition. Now, after the break, we'll get into your local sports news.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our local sports news, mountain biker and cyclist Vera Luso was a thoroughly deserved recipient of the Namibia Sports Commission's highest honor on Saturday night conclusion of the sports year 2023 held at the Dome in Swakopmund. Moving on, both the FNB Unam Rugby Club's men's team and the Unam Steenbokkies emerged victorious in Saturday's Eagle Night Day of the Dolphin Rugby tournament held at the Tamariskia Stadium in Swakopmund. Afis Park in Windhoek witnessed an exhilarating sporting weekend as teams from across the country met up to compete in the highly anticipated Metropolitan Gravity Cup 2023. We're now get into your international sports news. Starting off with rugby news, Saturday's enthralling 12-11 Rugby World Cup final victory over New Zealand on Saturday means they are the first side in history to reach 4 Webb Ellis Cups, solidifying their status as a giant of the game. Moving on, Eddie Jones has reportedly quit as Wallabies coach. This follows Australia's disastrous Rugby World Cup campaign. Jones has been linked with the head coach role of Japan, which he has denied. Now, Manchester City once feared a trip to Old Trafford, but painted the town blue once more with a 3-0 victory over a demoralized United on Sunday to reassert their dominance. After the break, we'll get into the news highlights from today's broadcast. To stay with NMH at 1.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
You're still watching Animated One, and if you've just joined us, here are the news highlights. Health authorities apprehended TikToker Matthew Lani, who allegedly impersonated a medical doctor to fuel his social media following when he tried to sneak into a Johannesburg hospital on Sunday night. Israel has urged Russia to protect all its citizens and all Jews after a large mob, some shouting anti-Semitic slogans, stormed a Dagestan airport. Mountain biker and cyclist Vera Luso was a thoroughly deserved recipient of the Namibia Sports Commission's highest honor on Saturday night, conclusion of the sports year 2023 held at the Dome in Swakopmund. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From me, Glen-Nora Tjipura, until next time.